67 Celtic News YouTube channel. This Thursday morning video obviously going to be a post-match review of Celtic's totally awful performance yesterday evening against Kairat Almaty in the first leg of the final Champions League playoff round. And one of the worst performances by Celtic I've seen for a great length of time. In the video we're going to have a wee look at the match incidents, we look at the stats and also my match ratings, and as we go through, and at the end some thoughts regarding the team, the next leg, and some of the other issues raised by last night's game. So I have to say that I was very disappointed with Celtic's players, very disappointed with Brendan Rodgers coming to his post-match reaction. As is totally expected with Brendan Rodgers, it's everybody else's fault and not his own. I don't think he set up Celtic properly. I think he has, as he very often does do against teams he thinks are inferior, he engenders this very smug, superior, we are so good we don't need to change the way we play type of attitude. And I think, unfortunately, as it often has done, it got down to the players. The players all, for me, looked rather nervous and scared. Their passing was atrocious. The final passes into the danger zone were poor. The crosses into the box were generally poor. There weren't very good runs by whoever was playing up front for Celtic, be it Ida, Yamada or Maeda. All three of them didn't really make good runs into the box, but to be thoroughly fair, nor did Celtic's midfielders or wide players or fullbacks make much in the way of good delivery into the box or chance creation for them in the box. Key incidents in the game, well, there was a correctly disallowed goal for Kairat Almaty in the 10th minute. He was offside, but not by quite so much as I thought it was when I first saw it, but still clearly offside, and so it was correctly disallowed. Celtic in the first half huffed and puffed, but as I said, so many of their attacks got blocked out, defended out, or the final pass was woeful, and Celtic really didn't look like a threat in the first half, apart from maybe one deflected Callum McGregor shot, but otherwise, as poorly as Ida played, no one actually gave him a chance to score. He did drop back into midfield a few times to try and help link up the attacks, but Kairat Almaty's defenders, defensive midfielders and other midfielders did a tremendous job all the way through the game at nullifying any threat from Celtic. Next key incident probably was the long shot by Nielsen. Kasper Schmeichel coming out, being a sweeper keeper, passing to Cameron Carter-Vickers, who rather than making a good forward pass, decided to pass basically straight to Nielsen, and Nielsen shot from just about the halfway line, narrowly skimmed the bar, and Celtic managed to escape what could have been a catastrophic error. Celtic's first real chance, I think, came in the 70th minute, a brilliant cross by Arnie Engels from the corner, and Liam Scales probably really should have scored. He got there before the goalkeeper. There was no one there to mark him, and unfortunately Scales headed it over the bar. But he at least got himself in the right position, and Engels delivered a brilliant cross from the corner. 83rd minute, good run by Yang into the box, but couldn't quite find Maeda on the edge of the 6-yard box, and that ball pass and chance got bundled out. And then probably Celtic's best chance of the whole game in 7 minutes into the 10 minutes of added time, and I think that pretty much sums up the whole game of how well Kairat Almaty came with their blueprint of how to stop Celtic scoring. Is that the Celtic's one and only real chance came at 7 minutes into added time. Dyson Maeda managed to get behind the Almaty defence. His extra bit of pace kept him clear, but unfortunately hit a rather poor shot from just inside the box, and Celtic's one and only real chance of the game apart from the Scales header, was lost. Looking at the game in general, Celtic obviously played very, very poorly. It was the kind of performances Celtic turned in several times last season, particularly when Brendan Rodgers got overconfident that Celtic were going to win no matter what the other team did. Passing was poor, the spirit was poor, very few, if any, things to give credit to. I thought the defenders actually defended when they had to defend well. Unfortunately, the distribution from the back four, which in essence became back six with Ralston and Trusty being added in later on, well, their distribution wasn't quite up to the usual standard. However, all those who were called on to defend by Celtic defended well, and so that may well have been a good omen for the second leg in 5 days' time. Just looking at the stats for the game, we've got Celtic's possession 75-25. Possession shots were 11-8 in Celtic's favour. Celtic had 3 off targets and 5 blocked. Kairat Almaty had no shots on target, 5 off targets and 3 blocked. Celtic had 5 shots from outside the box to Kairat Almaty's 4. Touches in the box were massively in Celtic's favour as well, 29-12. Corners massively in Celtic's favour, 15-3. So it kind of shows Celtic had tons of the ball, got themselves into the final third on a really regular basis. However, Almaty's ability to defend in their back four, augmented by 2 and 3 midfielders in front of that, was excellent, and Celtic never really challenged the goal until 7 minutes into added time. Having said all that, Kairat Almaty, apart from a few long shots, and that long shot by Nielsen from the box didn't really trouble Kasper Schmeichel in the whole game, and Schmeichel had no saves to make, whilst their goalkeeper had 3 saves to make, and I think that's also something to remember for the second leg. In that Kairat Almaty are going to have to come out and attack a bit more. I think Celtic can then mop that up and hit them on the counter-attack. We have got players with a lot of pace, we have got players who can run with the ball, and we need to find someone to bang in the goals at the other end, be it Maeda or Yamada, or Yamada or Ida. Some other stats interesting from the game. Celtic had 31 crosses to their 9, again showing Celtic got into the right zone lots of times but didn't make any use of that ball. Rather awful were the passing stats. 696 passes by Celtic, of which 17%, 121, were backwards, 30% only were forwards, 212, and we had an incredible 363 sideways passes. So well over 50% of the passes were going sideways, and almost 70% of the passes were going sidewards or backwards. So we weren't getting the ball forwards, and our passing stats show that Celtic didn't get things right on the night. The players played very poorly and pretty much got what they deserved. Happily, we managed not to concede an away goal, which means that things are basically easy-peasy going into the second leg in Almaty next Tuesday. And I think Celtic have got the players to win that game if Rodgers and the players get things right on the night. As you can see from the graphic there, Almaty much better at getting their passes going forward, much better at limiting sideways passes and backward passes. And I think thereby hangs a tale that when Almaty got the ball, they were much better at getting the ball forward, and had a much better game plan than the one Brendan Rodgers sent Celtic out with. Things were a wee bit better in the second half when Yang came on and Engels came on, but Celtic never really got much in the way of pressure into the Almaty box with real, genuine good chances until Dyson Maida 7 minutes into added time. In terms of the match ratings, decided to give no one man of the match because nobody on the Celtic side deserved a man of the match. Probably, if I was going to give a man of the match, I would give it to the two central defenders, Martinovic and Sorokin of Almaty, because they had an excellent defensive match. However, many of their midfielders and fullbacks also had very, very good games. So, Schmeichel, I've given a 6-2. Didn't have any saves to make. He wasn't quite so quick as he usually is in terms of getting attacks going, rolling the ball out, taking quick by kicks, etc. So that wasn't quite up to his usual standard, but can't really fault him. No saves to make, so 6 out of 10. Alistair Johnson, before he got injured, gave a 6 out of 10. Defended nicely, seemed to really struggle to get the ball forward properly, struggled to get into the final zone. Carter Vickers 5, I thought his distribution was poor. His defending was fine, but distribution poor. Deeper into the game, he got more and more into the Almaty half and got less and less certain with his passes. Liam Scales gave 4.5. I thought his defending on the whole was good. His distribution was abysmal. He had a couple of chances from corners to score headed goals. First one was totally useless. Second one, as I said, he probably really should have scored, pretty much unmarked 6 yards out, but instead he hit it over the bar. But his basic defending was fine. Kieran Tierney I've given a 6 to as well. Again, much like Johnson, defended fine, but really struggled to be a real threat in the final third or in midfield. McGregor and Hatate have given them both 5s. They did improve a wee bit as the game went on, particularly last 15-20 minutes or so when they came on with Engels as their partner. But overall, very disappointed in Callum McGregor's leadership, very disappointed in Rio Hatate. A lot of his passes misplaced, didn't really threaten a good ball into the box. There was an awful lot of sideways and back and forwards in all of Celtic's midfielders. Negreen I've given a 4 to. Very poor game by him. Never really an attacking threat, never really made any good forward passes or good forward runs, and almost was totally anonymous. Similarly, James Forrest, I've given a 4. He really couldn't beat the fullback either through trickery or through pace, nor could anybody get him in behind with a good pass. And his delivery with the ball and passes and crosses was also poor. And was surprised that he got kept on so long. I might have been inclined actually to take off Forrest and throw on Yang and keep Ida on to see whether Yang's better pace and delivery might have done things better for Ida, but Rodgers made a different decision. Ida I've given a 4 to. He was pretty anonymous in the first half, mostly because his teammates didn't give him a good pass, didn't give him a good cross. He made 1 or 2 nice runs into the box, but no one could find them. And so, although he did play poorly, half of that was due to his teammates not giving him support. Maeda I've given a 5 to. Again, disappointing game from him. He missed Celtic's best chance. Did have a half chance late in the game, around the 83rd minute from Yang's good run and pass. But he really didn't seem his usual self. Hopefully he's bang on form next Tuesday. In terms of the subs, given Ralston a 4, I thought he was very disappointing. Didn't defend terribly well, looked very nervous when the ball came to him to try and get the ball out of defence. A couple of times he put Celtic into a bit of trouble. Although hopefully now that he knows he's likely to be starting for Celtic for the next few weeks with Alistair Johnson out with what appears to be a hamstring injury, maybe Ralston will be better prepared rather than having been thrown at the deep end all of a sudden. Yang given a 6 to. I think of all the Celtic players on the day, he maybe had the best performance. He certainly seemed to have a lot more pace and liveliness and attack and intent than any other Celtic player had done in the first half. However, his final product not as good as it needed to be. Engels are given a 5.5 to. Some nice deliveries from crosses and corners. Seemed to make Celtic's midfield play that wee bit better after he came on in the second half. Yamada 5.5, a few good attempts at a run, a few good times trying to link up play. But again, much like Ida and Maeda, when they were playing as the main striker, Celtic just didn't get the ball to him to get a chance to score. It would be interesting to see how Yamada would do if he was given good service from Celtic's players, or if, as might be the case in the away leg, there's a bit more space for him to run into behind the Almaty defence. Finally, Austin Trusty have given a 6-2. His distribution, I thought, was better than Scales. Defending was fine. Things looked a wee bit more assured when he was at left centre-back than Scales had done. But I doubt that Rodgers will change that round for the second leg. So, lots of fans blaming the board. I don't blame the board. Admittedly, they could have brought in some more players, but 9 of Celtic's 11 starters were the players who did so well against Bayern Munich in Bayern, did well for parts of the game against Aston Villa. We have a much better left back in Kieran Tierney than Greg Taylor. Right wing is the one place where we are worse this season than last season. Kyogo didn't have a great season last season either. Ida, by most ways of assessing, had a better season than Kyogo did. 20 goals to 12. Conversion rate was better for Ida than it was for Kyogo. Ida scored his goals in fewer minutes per goal than Kyogo had done. And players like Schmeichel, Johnston, Carter-Vickers, Scales, McGregor, Hatate, Forrest, Maeda, Engels all played throughout last year's Champions League, and they let us down on the day. And as I think McGregor said so well in his post-match interviews, everybody needs to rally around the team, rally around the club, and chants like sack the board, are not called for. Cheering the players on, getting them better motivated, more energetic, more forward-thinking, more attacking, more committed was what was required. And I don't think the atmosphere at Celtic Park for large parts of the game really helped the team. Tremendous start to the proceedings with the pre-match atmosphere and the first 5-10 minutes, but things both in the crowd and on the pitch very quickly went flat, and Kairat Almaty showed how well organised they are. Having said all that, I think Celtic have every chance to go through in the second leg. Almaty will have to come out more attacking. They will be missing their star player Sat Payav, who got himself booked late on and so misses the second leg. Jorginho does look like a player who can score a goal. Nielsen I wasn't terribly impressed with. Grumiko, who is their main attacking midfielder, had 1 or 2 nice touches, but didn't really look like a threat going forward. And so I think Celtic do have every chance in the second leg if they can play near their best, not even at their best. So I think Almaty are a team that Celtic can certainly take in the second leg. So that just about finishes this video off. Still on my holidays, and so not quite the same quality of video and graphics and audio, etc. And there may be 1 or 2 wee little odd edits in the video as well, as the internet here is rather slow, and so the quality is not quite as good as it is, in my view, when I'm at home. Be great to see what your own thoughts are regarding all the issues, so do pop those into the comment section. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, please do click that subscriber button. It would cheer me up no end on this rather miserable Thursday morning to have a few more subscribers in preparation for the game against Livingston at the weekend, and then the massively important game next Tuesday in Kazakhstan. And so until the next video, goodbye and hail, hail.